everybody. I am Stephen Harris with KOG. That is Kingdom of God Entrepreneur. And this is the KOG Entrepreneur Show. Now, today I have a very special guest, one of my friends from Pedro Adal's 100X family, one of my fellow Kingdom entrepreneurs. I'm so blessed to have her here today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her out right now. So excited to have Helen Tower on the podcast today. Helen, welcome to the KOG Entrepreneur Show. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. So honored to have you. See, Helen is a part of a ministry based out of Malawi. It is a missions-based organization called Living Cross Ministries. And this is basically your passion project, am I right?
This is correct.
Okay, please tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, well, actually in 2013, I visited on a mission trip. And when I came back, it was just tearing at my heart, that I felt like I really needed to help these people. So the process went into effect of me trying to figure out how to get my 501c3 so that I could actually get a church and, buy land and build a church and build pastors' homes. And it's been since 2014 since the paperwork I started.
Okay.
And now we have our nonprofit, and we've been building and buying, and we actually just recently built a blind man a house with a tin roof, and we also built the widow a house with a tin roof, and we bought 2 acres of land this week.
Excellent.
Which was a blessing.
Congratulations.
And I don't know if you know about this, but this time of the year is when the crops usually aren't coming in, so there's price gouging, and people go hungry like for a day or 2 days sometimes.
Okay.
So with this land, we're actually going to put corn and peanuts. So we'll have some staples, and corn is the basic staple of Malawian people.
Okay.
And they actually make maize with it. They grind it and make like a putty and eat it with beans. So that's what this week we've been doing. So it's been an exciting week for us.
Well, excellent. Okay. And so, and to make clear to the audience, this show is not so much about just having Christians with their ministries on. This is specifically to point out and highlight those people who have that kingdom of God, the gospel of the kingdom of God mindset, which is about the multiplication and the stewardship of what God has given us. But these are people who are specifically focused on the call of God on their life through business. So we learned a little bit about your missions organization. Please tell us about the business side that is funding the missions organization.
Well, anyway, Stephen, what I am doing is I was trying to find a product that was something that I could put the ministry's name on, because it had to be really good. And I stumbled across a company when I was starting to have knee pains.
Okay.
And I started taking CBD oil. And then I did a little research on the company and found out that they have a 60-day money-back empty bottle guarantee, which I said, well, I have nothing to lose. Why not try it? So I tried it, and the first week, my knee pain went away.
Wow.
So
that's huge.
It's really huge. And then my husband, he also has bulging discs in his back.
Wow.
Up in the neck area, and he also has hip problems and back problems from landscaping.
Okay.
And within the first week, it was helping him. So neither one of us are taking any over-the-counter or pain medications from prescriptions.
Okay,
And that to me is just amazing.
Wow. Okay.
There's a lot of people out that are looking for natural things.
Yep.
And that's what I was looking for, because I'm 58 years old and I don't want my stomach to start having ulcers. And that's how I decided to go with this company. And I really like the way they do business. I mean, they have the principles of the kingdom,
Okay.
basically, even though they don't call themselves a kingdom business. They really do.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. So, um, how long have you been using the product specifically?
I just counted my empty bottles because I was saving them, and I actually have 8. So,
Okay.
so I've been on them about 6.5 months because my
Okay.
husband and I split a bottle every month. So it lasts us about 3 weeks each bottle.
Okay. Excellent. And so you're saying as a user of the product,
Hmm.
it sounds like it was about a night and day difference. You went from being in a lot of pain to being functional. Am I right?
That is correct. I actually clean offices for a living. I have a
Oh,
cleaning
wow.
company, a
Okay.
Janiking franchise,
Okay.
and I'm on my feet all day. And one of the things I noticed was my knees weren't hurting, my
Wow.
joints weren't hurting, my arthritis in my hands wasn't hurting anymore.
So, it's interesting you talked about being in a cleaning company and experiencing that because 7 years ago when I moved to North Carolina from LA, I was in the mountainous area of North Carolina, which is there's a town named Boone. You might have heard of Samaritan's Purse or Appalachian State
Yes.
University. That's in Boone. And one of the jobs I had up there to make ends meet was cleaning the resort homes because you have so many homes that are owned there simply because you got snowbirds from New York or Florida. They own the house and they want to rent it out the rest of the year, so it's an asset to them.
Hmm.
And at the age of 30, I remember going home from some of these intense daily cleaning jobs and being in so much pain, and even in the hands when you're wiping the windows and wiping down toilets and everything. At the end of the day after day after day, that can really do a number on your joints. So, so your testimony is really ministering to me because, man, at the age of 30, I was in a lot of pain, and at 37, I'm in a lot more pain than I was when I was 30.
Oh,
So
wow.
I need to find a solution now.
Well, I've been doing it for 16 years, so it's really helped tremendously.
Excellent. Okay. And so the business is what is the CBD oil business is exactly what is funding the missions, correct?
We between that and doing fundraisers.
Okay. Very nice.
So, but I would like to take it to that next level where we have enough customers that we can purchase what we need in Malawi to feed our church, to buy seeds, to plant, to do our building projects. It's not very expensive to do, but we need that constant money coming in.
Okay.
So if we had some customers that love the products as much as we love the products, then it would be a win-win situation.
Yeah. One of my favorite business reality shows, aside from Shark Tank, is a show called The Profit with Marcus Lemonis from Camping World. I don't know if you're familiar with him in the show,
Mhm.
but he loves to invest in products or services that have an element specific to doing charity. So those companies, whether it be watches or some kind of widget or something else, whenever there's a charity element, the sales go way up. And of course, and part of that is because people might want to watch, but they're happy to know that they can choose that if they buy a particular watch, it's going to go to a particular charity. And so in
Mhm.
this case, the CBD oil purchase, you'll be able to use it for your own physical needs, but you're going to be feeding people in Malawi as well as providing shelter and educational materials. Is that something there as well?
That's something as well, yes.
So, regarding the CBD oil, who would you say is your target audience?
People that are in pain, that have inflammation, that are tired of taking all the drugs that cause side effects.
Yeah.
it makes a huge difference when you're not popping 6 to 10 Advils in a day. I know my husband actually got up to 8.
Wow.
That's a
Man.
lot. I got up to 6.
Yeah.
So when you have chronic pain and nothing's it Advil works kind of, but you have so many side effects.
Yeah.
Whereas CBD, you don't have any side effects.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I've definitely spoken to people who've even had terrible chronic issues, brain tumors, stuff like that. And a little CBD oil made a world of difference for them. They went from completely unfunctional to functional.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting. Um, so you had talked about the target audience being people who are in pain and just having these physical issues, and obviously what you're doing to make their lives better is by taking away that pain.
Correct. And the inflammation.
Yep. Because I know in sales we'll say, what's the pain point? And in this point, or in this case, it's physical
Pain.
pain.
And one other thing about inflammation is it actually, when you have chronic inflammation, it causes cancer eventually,
Wow.
because it's a constant wearing of the membranes of your body.
Wow. Okay, so I mean, how much of the science of it do you understand? What do they say is actually happening when you put the CBD oil in your body?
It
That's
act
so much better than opposed to, again, ibuprofen, Advil, something like that.
Well, Advil is a COX-2 inhibitor, and so is CBD.
Okay.
So what it does is the brain tells the body to not have pain.
Okay. Excellent. Okay.
And actually, there's 88 different cannabinoids in CBD, each doing something different for the body. They haven't done enough studies yet to know what does what, but we do know that CBDA is the main one for pain and inflammation, and ours has 300 times the amount in our 10x Pure 1000 than
Okay.
anything on the market.
Excellent. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, that's uh I mean, I'm not the science guy. I've studied theology, I've studied business, but again, I mean, I try to be a practical person, because you think about it, we're getting fed so much propaganda on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
You turn on television, you can't but not get a commercial about some new drug, and it's interesting because they always show people smiling and laughing and families together having a good time, and while they're reading all the doom and gloom of the side effects, and people may die, they'll never be the same, but yet we're seeing these images. And
And if
so
someone has died from it, then that's why they have to claim it.
yeah, but you think about it, that's what we're being given as our option. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you have this problem, chronic pain or whatever, try the over-the-counter stuff, which is eventually going to destroy your liver if you keep taking it again and again and again, or take this really strong stuff that they have to have a special commercial for. And so what you're saying is you've lived it. You're at an age of your life where you were in a lot of pain doing what you're doing. Your husband was in a lot of pain doing what he was doing. And yet here you are, 6 months into it, and the pain is virtually gone. Is that
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Correct. And after a long day at work, now the inflammation does come back a little bit, and I take a little bit more, and it goes back away again.
Oh, that's awesome.
And no side effects. And I sleep great too. You get
Wow,
some really
okay.
good sleep with CBD.
Okay, well, was the sleep being affected because of physical pain, or was it just kind of like it calms your mind in a way where you can just relax?
Well, it just makes it, well, for the physical pain too, that's one of the things, but it just makes your body relax. It actually helps with a lot of mental issues as well.
Really?
So there's some things I can't say because of disclaimers from the government, but
Yeah.
but it helps in so many different areas. And because it's not FDA approved, which most of your natural things aren't.
Yes.
That's why you can't put those claims on it. But it just helps in all mental stability.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I sleep like a baby.
Yeah, I heard a story of a gentleman who he's just older, very close to the age of 70, had diabetes, hypertension, all that kind of stuff, heart surgeries, and just developed chronic pain over the years. And he was telling me about how he went to the doctor one day and was listing all the things that he takes, and CBD was one of them. And the doctor freaked out and said, "What are you doing? This isn't regulated." He says, "All I know is the stuff you're giving me ain't working, and that stuff's working."
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I think it's, what is it? It might be John chapter 9. Forgive me if I got the wrong chapter, but the blind man, and they kept probing him and asking him questions, and he was defending Jesus, saying, "Whether this man's a sinner, I don't know. But what I do know, I was blind, but now I see."
That's right.
And
And he gave it to us. He gave us the natural plants to use for our bodies. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, here's a question I'm just going to throw at you, because there's been, here in Charlotte, I'm originally from LA, and now I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and there is so many hemp oil, CBD oil things, shops that are popping up out of nowhere. What would you recommend? I mean, aside from the product you have, but what sets your product aside and makes it stand out as superior in quality and all those good things, as opposed to something I can get at the local shop?
well, one of the first things you want to look for is you want to make sure it's third-party tested
Yeah.
from an accredited tester, and you want to make sure that it has been tested to be organic, and that it has no pesticides. So with that testing, it will have a list of everything, and it will also tell you which cannabinoids are actually in the product and how much of it. And you can compare fact sheet to fact sheet on any product and find out which has what percentage more of each cannabinoid, and if it has any of those properties that you don't want in it. So that's
Okay.
one of your main things.
Okay. That's excellent. Yeah. I wonder about that sometimes, because we're seeing so many different of these businesses creeping up out of nowhere. It's good to have that knowledge, because anybody could take a bottle and fill it with salad dressing, or something. I know you'd mentioned that to me at some point, and
Yeah,
it's good.
basically,
It's good
just
to know what you're
good
doing is actually
oil.
tested.
And not to say that it doesn't have good properties in the hemp oil that some of these companies are selling, but if it's not going to do what you want it to do because it doesn't have those CBD, the different cannabinoids in it, then you're just wasting your money.
Yeah. Wow.
And a lot of them, actually, we've done a lot of comparisons, and there's a lot in stores right now that they don't have sheets, or they have them, but they've never tested for pesticides and anything else in it.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so you really need to check.
Okay, well, excellent. So we appreciate having you on the show today.
Thanks
And
for having
so,
me.
absolutely. Now, my question to you is, we got you here. We heard your story about how you have this wonderful mission in Malawi, and the CBD oil that you are, I guess you would consider yourself a distributor. Is that it?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
So you're a distributor for the specific brand of CBD oil. Tell me, how can our audience who are interested in somehow giving back, whether it's by purchasing the CBD oil or just giving a donation to the mission, where do we need to go to be able to do that?
Well, for the CBD oil, We have a web page.
So, is there any special deals or anything that we need to be aware of before we go to the website to purchase?
Well, if you decided that you wanted to try it and you want to be a preferred customer, if you hit the Join Now button, you can get it at the wholesale price.
Okay.
If you don't hit that button, it's a retail price. Either way, the ministry gets a little percentage of it. So either one helps, and whichever you choose, we're happy with. So so that would be my thing. And then watch the videos, because the videos have a doctor that talks about the CBDA, and then it also has another video of why to go with CTFO. And like I said, the company is amazing, so that's a good thing to do also.
Excellent.
And the other thing is, if a person would like to donate to our ministry, we actually have a Facebook page. And I really do appreciate you having me on.
Oh, it's such an honor to have you here. Do you have any last words for people who are either Kingdom of God entrepreneurs or wanting to, let's say, aspiring Kingdom of God entrepreneurs? Any advice you would give them?
Well, definitely follow your heart, and if you feel that God is speaking to you, go in the direction that He's telling you to go. Because if I hadn't have, and if I had just kept ignoring and ignoring, I wouldn't have met some of the most beautiful people. I mean, I consider them family, and I look forward to every time I get to go to a mission trip over and visit. So whatever you have in your heart, just do it, because God is, if you take the first step, God will meet you there.
Amen.
So that would be my advice as far as doing whatever you feel God's calling you to do.
Oh, amen. Well, we enjoyed having you. We wish you all the best, and we say God bless. You have a good one.
God bless you. Thank you.